Good morning, David. First here. Just got a cup of tea. I'll do a Q&A session with people, but we'll just wait for people to join us. So we'll see how this goes. Let me show you what I've managed to do whilst we were gone earlier. I've got to just find it, I suppose. Oh, here we are. It's right at the bottom. Let me bring it up. Morning, Lee. So I managed to get this done. So that's your Telegram chat next to a photograph of me. So if people wanted to write anything on Telegram or we wanted to review the chat, we can do that. So that's I was geekily chuffed with it. Morning, Julie. How's your knee, David? Is it any better? Hiya, Denise. I popped by Denise's house on my way home yesterday to drop something off, and she gave me a biscuit. She gave me a plate full of biscuits, and I ate them all, didn't I, Denise? I ate them all with a cup of tea. Right, Jeanette. That's because every time your wife goes out, mate, you go out gardening and doing things you're not meant to do. Jeanette and Graham managed to join the Telegram group last night. Good job, Graham sent me the message, Jeanette, because I hadn't realised that once I'd made it private, that I needed to share the link with people. So thanks for Graham for contacting me. I like it. I like the Rabble chat group. I think it'll settle down over time. You know, people are just finding their feet. I will delete it every Sunday night, I think. No, I'd not barred you at all. I think the point is I don't know what I'm doing, Jeanette. I'm learning as I go along, like the rest of us. So most of the time it's because I'd not worked it out. How you doing, Gary? You well? I've not seen. You know, I there was a point when I spoke to Gary all the time, and I've not seen him since before the election. Have I seen you just after the election? I think just after the election. So I know you've been painting and decorating the village hall or the church hall, haven't you? I see. So what am I going to do today? Morning, mate. You've also signed up to the YouTube subscription, haven't you? And I'll tell you guys a bit about that. I think I'm going to go and see David and Dean for a cuppa in Morrison's this afternoon, Gary. I've gone from being very, very busy, and then I had a week off away. I was in Glasgow with Eve, and then John as well. I've not seen John in a while. And then I think from about Sunday, I've had 3 days off, and I feel like I've had a month off. I'll be honest with you. I've had something like 2 or 3 days off, and I feel like I've had a month off. I got up yesterday, got dressed really, and after I did the little thing with you guys, and I headed off out, and I'm like thinking, where am I going? And I realised I was off to visit my brother, and then I visited my mum and my cousin, and I did the rounds and came back. No, I feel so much better, Julia. It was, the truth of all of this is, it's difficult, it's tense. We are doing, between us, we are doing what has never been done before, and it hasn't been done before, particularly in a town like ours. We've rolled our sleeves up and we've took it to them. And I laughed when I saw the newspaper headline about toxicity and social media, and I thought, the cheek of them. The toxicity is coming from them. These are the people, and I saw it on the Rabble chat earlier on the Telegram page, and I get it. I completely get it, in the sense that someone thought about submitting a standards complaint about the fireworks, because councillors are setting off fireworks, and Asian councillors are setting off fireworks, and not only are they setting off fireworks, they're showing off what they're doing on Facebook. Fireworks in the evening in built-up residential areas, and these aren't little sparklers. These are, commercial grade firework displays, and I'm just disgusted is the wrong word, because it doesn't articulate enough the clear contempt these people have for the rest of us in the town. So someone wanted to submit a question, and I said, no, you can submit a question if you want, but really what you want to do is complain, and the way to complain is via a standards complaint. And she queried, she lives outside of the town. And I said, no, outside of the town is fine, because you're complaining about the standard of a councillor. It's a standards complaint. And then she raised a really good point, and I reflected on it, because in some ways I've ended up with a thicker skin, but I didn't start off with a thicker skin on these issues, in the sense that her address, she feared, and she's right to do so, because the council have form. She feared that if she submitted a complaint, then her name and address would be leaked to Neil Wilby, and Neil Wilby would then attack her and her family on behalf of the council. I mean, this is the town we're dealing with, and so in the context of toxicity, where is it coming from? It's not coming from us. It's coming from councillors and council officers who are working hand in glove with Neil Wilby. And that has got to stop. That really has got to stop. So I get that. I get your anxiety and your fear of submitting a simple complaint. I'd call him Bent Whistle, Paul Entwistle, but at the end of the day, Paul, you can't justify that, can you? You can't justify that sort of behaviour. And the other thing with the standards complaint, and the truth of it is, I think there's 5 councillors and someone independent who really isn't independent who sit on it, and they'll just, play around with it and won't do anything, because nothing's ever done in this town. It's not they think they are beyond reproach. They are beyond reproach, Denise. And this is why they despise us. It's because we've held them to account. This is why they despise us, because we have held them to account. So, excuse me, my hay fever. I need to take my tablets at some point. We submitted, I think between us, we got, Mate, the first thing I did, Gary, at the beginning of this, the first thing I did was contact the council. Naively thinking the council would intervene, that a convicted sex offender was the chairman of the local mosque. Naively thinking that the council would be horrified that Shabir Ahmed had worked for them. Naively thinking that the shisha bars that children were being dragged into, the council would be equally horrified of their failings. Past failings. And Sean Fielding being new to this, because he was in school at the time most of this happened. Same with Amanda Chadderton. The only skin they have in the game is their loyalty to the Labour Party. And that superseded the loyalty to the town and superseded any sense of duty to the children who were being groomed and gang raped. So I entered this green as well, and I've been on the steepest learning curve. And I get the anxiety of Wilby attacking you, because that's all he's done to me for the last 3 years. And he's protected by Greater Manchester Police. There's an ongoing complaint with Greater Manchester Police that's been sat with him for I think 6 months now. And I've caught red-handed in the exchanges of emails with a police constable who's been caught lying and preventing an investigation into Neil Wilby. I know full well, having met that police constable, he's too young and too green to have any skin in that game, Gary. He's done it because someone's told him to do it. It's the same with the firebombing of her car. One day, this will all come out in the national media, and the council officers will all be pensioned off, and the politicians will have run away. And we'll have to get it to that point. And the way we get it is at the ballot box, and that's why I was exhausted, because leading up to the election, as well as all the work I was doing and trying to keep all of it together, in terms of the supporting the candidates, trying to make sure Conservatives get over the line in certain areas, trying to make sure the Independents get over the line in other areas, trying to deal with the idiots like Brian Hoban sabotaging what we'd all come together for. It was exhausting. And on top of that, I was being dragged into police cells where the police were trying to falsely prosecute me. It's not even exaggerated in any way. When I was in that police cell, just a week before the election, when they dragged me from my flat at 6:30 in the morning, 6:41 in the morning, what they'd done is they tried to get a fast-track charging decision from the CPS before even interviewing me. And that's now being taken out through the, I've got lawyers who will deal with Greater Manchester Police accordingly. It's an unlawful arrest, and it was a politically motivated arrest, and it was purpose. Purpose was to interfere in free and fair elections, which is a bedrock of our democratic system. And Greater Manchester Police are interfering in elections. It's absolutely staggering. I'm just going to go and take my hay fever tablet, blow my nose because you don't want to hear me sniffling, and I'll come back and I'll tell you why we're moving away from Facebook. And then once I explain things to you, you'll understand, and I'm hopefully the Telegram channel will grow over the next 5 or 6 months. But give me a moment and I'll come back. Those of you joining us late, look what I managed to do from the earlier bit when I was working out Telegram. And what I can now also do is put up the Telegram chat alongside me on the screen. I was chuffed with that. I'd figured that out. I have this camera. It's a vlogging camera. I needed to fix the lens, which I think I've done, and charged it all up. And my intention is over the summer to spend a lot more time outside, wandering around, talking to people, capturing views and opinions in the town, and putting videos together. So that's what I'll be doing up to September, October. I think the Facebook stage of our campaign is exhausted for now. I mean, we'll come back to it in October, November time, and I'll use it in a different way. Now, the issue I have with things like Facebook is that they decide when and how and who to push your content to. So, I mean, I think you've all seen it. In the old days, Facebook, if you posted something, and all your friends would see what you've posted, and that's gone. And they play their own games with their own algorithms. Now, what on its own, that hasn't been an issue, but it's not really what you want, because people say, I didn't see it. Well, this way, you join a Telegram group and you get a notification. Now, I know the Rabble group has been causing issues for some people because of, you know, people posting late at night and it turning up on your phone and notifications. But there's two things. One is you don't have to join the Rabble group. You can just join the Recusant 9 group on its own, and that's where I put all my content. It's automatically then fed to the Rabble group, where people can discuss and debate. So the Recusant 9 group on its own is just one-way communication, but the Rabble group is really the chat group, but you don't have to join the chat group. And even if you do join the chat group, you can turn the notifications on silent. It's done very, very easily on your settings, and which is what I've got, by the way, if I'm honest with you. The Rabble notifications for me are on silent. What I will do with the Rabble group is, yes, Joe, yeah, brilliant. You can mute it, brilliant. I was chuffed when I figured that out, Julie. So you can mute it. So that's what I've done with the Rabble group. Now, you know, people are people, aren't they? Some people like to come in and try and, you know, own a space. Some people are quiet and just listen in. Some people will say things. Some people come in with their own agendas. Some people come in wanting to learn. It's all fine. For now, it's all fine. As long as people are respectful to each other. I'm not keen on the swearing, so, you know, and I've seen a couple of, but for now, it's fine. I'm not keen on people calling other people names, so, I mean, that's even those who we are against, so we need to, you know, see how that plays out. But as it is, it's fine. I think the discussion group, it'll mature, it'll evolve. I'm going to clear it on Sunday night, so what I'm going to do is clear it every Sunday night. So when I've done my transmissions on a Sunday night, and just before I go to bed, I'll clear the Rabble chat, so it's clean for everyone who's new joining, rather than having to go through weeks and months of posts. The second thing I'll do with I'd like with the Rabble group, and for people who are joining, is in an ideal world. I've blocked 2 or 3 people so far on the Recusant 9 page because they just joined with random numbers to their account name. I'd prefer people to put their own names on. I would. I understand some people can't, and I'm okay with pseudonyms, I suppose. But just random numbers and stuff is when I'll delete it or block it. So please, if you can join, when you join the Telegram channel, use your name, as you are doing here, or use a pseudonym. But just random numbers, it makes it difficult for me to work things out, to continue. It's by member, it's by, you've got to join, and it's private, so it's not social media in the sentence, in the traditional context of social media. So there's a certain amount of privacy. Someone can't join, see something, and then go running to the police and say, I've been offended by this, because you've chosen to come into it's no different than choosing to go into a nightclub or a comedy act and knowing that there'll be jokes on that you might not like. It's so that it also gives me a certain sense of protection from the police, because let's be honest here, the police's motivation with me is to arrest me and try and prosecute me no matter what. Now, it's easy for people to say, oh, why haven't you done this and why haven't you done that from the outside? Are you not being strong enough? But no one's coming and hammering your door down. The person they've been trying to silence and censor for 4 years at least now is me. So the Telegram channel and how I'll use it gives me the opportunity to be a lot more relaxed in how I communicate and what I say. Because every time they've arrested me, it's not because of what I've said, it's because they've tried to misinterpret what I've said. It's why I'm being sued. It's not because of what I've said to Dr. Chauhan, it's how he feels other people will interpret what I've said. It's completely absurd. But it's taking me time and taking me away from some of the things I want to do, which is campaign for our town, and all of that is intentional. So that's one of the reasons we're moving away from Facebook, or the second reason. One is the way they push out the algorithm. Second is it's a more private space that protects me. The third reason is in the run-up to the election, Facebook took down a couple of my posts and put them back up, but they played about and prevented me from, right close to the election, prevented me from posting and sharing my posts in a certain way. Now, this was the second time they did that. The time before they did that was immediately after the Andy Burnham grooming gang report came out. And after a month or so, they came back and said, oh, we got it wrong. And everything's back to normal. And they've done the same again. Oh, we got it wrong. They didn't get it wrong. What's happened is people are complaining, the strategic complaints. The complaints are coming from high-level individuals, and they're able to censor me and restrict my audience on Facebook at key times. I don't want that to happen, or I don't want to be reliant on Facebook at key times. I don't think you want me to be reliant on Facebook, or for you to hear from me at key times, which is why another reason why we've set up Telegram. So it's our own page where we're doing our own thing. Now, sorry, I'm just opening it up now and seeing where we're up to. As it stands, we're at 177 subscribers so far, and the only way we'll get more and get more is by you guys pushing it out to your networks and your contacts. And if people want to get the information from me, they can do via Telegram. And contrary to what I think the malicious blogger put something out about Telegram firewall payment. The Telegram stuff is all set up for free. Anyone can access it. Everyone can access it. It's all set up in such a way where the content is free, but you've got to join, because by joining, I'm offered a level of protection. You've chosen to enter my space. You've chosen to come into my room, and then if you don't like what you're hearing, you can't go running off to the police to say, "Oh, he said something offensive." You just leave the room. So that's why we've moved to Telegram. When we go back to Facebook, I reckon September, October time, it'll be just to promote. Just articles to promote, links to promote. So all we'll do on Facebook is use it with pictures and images and little like 10-second sound clips and stuff like that, directing people away either to YouTube or the web page or Telegram or somewhere else where the more substantive content is. Now, will that strategy work? I don't know. We've got over 4,000 people on Facebook who follow the page, and we've got, I don't know, tens of thousands who are looking every week. But as others have found out on their own platforms, where they're claiming 100,000 views, 10,000, 200,000 reach, all of that, I'm not interested in those sort of numbers if it doesn't translate into action on the ground. We're a campaigning group. We're a campaigning community. That's what we do. We're campaigning to take back control of our town. We're political advocates. We're social, we work on social issues. That's what we're doing. We're not interested in driving up and down the street in a bright red Ferrari or something saying, "Look at me, look at me." We're interested in making a difference. So those silly, I call them vanity metrics mean absolutely nothing to me. From the outset, our critics have said, "Oh, there's only 10 of them, there's only 50 of them, there's only 100 of them, there's only 150 of them, there's only 200 of them." It doesn't matter, does it? Because we've been more effective than any other campaigning group in this town ever has been. Because we're committed, and we've made the difference, and we're educated. We coordinated with all of the things they despise. And it's why I still laugh at the term rabble. Because remember, the term rabble wasn't something we picked. It was something that, it was the malicious blogger. You used the word rabble to describe us. Yet in our conduct and the way in which we operate, we're anything but rabble. We're the most sophisticated political campaign group in this town. We have taken out 3 council leaders. We've taken the Labour majority from, 45, 46, 47 councillors down to 32. We've forced Andy Burnham to produce his assurance review. Don't think for 1 minute they wanted to publish that. We've exposed it for the cover-up it is, and he's gone running. So we've sent the Greater Manchester Mayor running. We've got rid of an entire chief executive. We've got rid of a former chief, the last chief executive, and the entire leadership team ran away because they knew what they were having to cover up. The new one came in, and his role was to censor and silence us and take care of us. He's failed, and now he's been given the job. So that is where we're up to. So please sign up to Telegram. It's completely free. Download it. It's 2 clicks and download it on your phone. You can download it on any Android phone, any Apple phone. You can even download it onto your computer. I've got it downloaded on my computer. It's very, very straightforward. It'll take us a little time to get used to it, but if I can manage it, I'm sure you guys can and have done. Now, in terms of moving forward, yeah, the second chief executive is running away. I think he's been sacked, Denise. I think he's been sacked because, well, you saw, those of you who joined the transmission on Sunday would have seen the clear contradiction. He got a 3-year contract this time last year. There was nothing about retirement. He is not retired. And there's no way, take it from me who has operated at a senior role. I'm sure many of you have as well in organisations. There's no way a chief executive comes in to deliver the plans developed by a previous chief executive. A chief executive will come in with their own ideas of how to go about delivering the strategic priorities of the council. They won't deliver the previous chief executive's strategic plan. It's not how it's done. So, that's what we're up to with Telegram. In terms of YouTube, some of you will have seen some membership tiers, and some of you have already signed up to the Rabble tier, so I'm very grateful, or the other tier, the £3 tier. So what I've done that for is the income I generate comes from 2 places, really. One is via the web page, which is how you've been traditionally joined and support me via. There's membership, I think £3. There was at one point a £1 membership to try and increase numbers, but that was completely useless because by the time the fees are took, the £1 ends up with next to pennies back to me. But there's a £3 tier, £5 tier, £10 tier, and I think there's a £50 tier that 2 or 3 of you also subscribe to. That's the main way in which I earn my income, through the web page, and it's a newsletter, isn't it? I've named it the Red Wall and the Rabble. So what I'm going to do at some point soon is change that from recusant9.ghost.io to actually just calling it the Red Wall and the Rabble and launching it as a newsletter. That'll go out every week, and we formalise that as going out every week. And those of you who've signed up to that, what I'm hoping is you'll just commit to the extra 99 pence and sign up to the YouTube channel on top of your memberships that you've got. The reason why is because YouTube takes 33% of my income. I don't lose 33% of my income from webpage, from the website, from the Go site. At least I think something like 3 or 5% on handling fees. So the reason for that is because the subscriptions have stalled. They've stalled at about 190, 200 at the most. They go up and down. Is there a £30 tier as well? Thank you. If there's a £30 tier, I just set that up. I mean, people can. I think the idea was some people wanted to pay more, some people wanted to pay less, but they all got the same content at the time. Now, what I'm committed to is every one of you who've supported me so far on this journey to sign up to the Rabble tier on YouTube. It's 99 pence. I get 66 pence a month off you. I'll put that in a kitty and I'll put it towards round a Christmas drinks, and I'll put it towards a Christmas meal like we had last year. I think by now most of you realise this isn't something that's done to generate an income. I'm not going to get rich of doing this work. So that's what I'm hoping most of you will do. And if you want, cancel your Ghost subscriptions and find the alternative similar tier on the YouTube channel and just sign up to that. But just do bear in mind, if you do that, I lose 33% immediately to YouTube, and I've got no qualms with YouTube doing that. The reason why we're going to do that, I think, moving forward, not yet, but moving forward it's going to go that way, is because, and by all means criticize me if you think I'm wrong in this. I'm fed up with people consuming my content for free not giving anything back, but worse, then going and passing it off as their own work. I've tried not to be offended by it, but in the end I am offended by it. Now you all know who's doing it, you've all seen who's doing it. So if you want my content, you can, what is it? You lot can pay 99 pence. Great, I'll put it towards a round of drinks and we'll have a drink at Christmas. We'll have some food at Christmas, we'll book the meal on, we'll book the blue tiffin, and we'll do something with that. And whatever we raise, we'll just, we'll put it behind the bar. But going behind a paywall means these people, even those who resent me, at the very least will have to pay 99 pence a month. At the very least will have to pay 99 pence a month. Because what YouTube will do, the way it works, it'll prevent them from viewing it. So please, those of you who do pay on Ghost, my preference is not to cancel your subscription. Just take the extra 99 pence a month hit. If you can't do that, you don't want to do that, that's fine. Cancel your subscription and then just pick up a tier that works for you on YouTube. And it'll all come out in the wash. As long as I can keep my lights on, I'm fine by it. But hopefully our numbers will also increase, because once we went free to air last year, and we had to go free to air, everything had to go free last year because we were committed to getting the Royton independence over the line. We were committed to getting the Royton independence over the line. And to get the Royton independence over the line, we had to get out to as many people as possible. And that's why everything went free to air. And it worked. We had Amanda Chadderton, who was the most, not only was she the leader of the council, she came into a position of leadership with no baggage whatsoever. Remember, she didn't have any baggage when she came. But we pressured her. She made mistakes. We communicated those mistakes to the electorate. We cornered her on policy. We exposed her shortcomings in the community. We amplified that in Royton. And the consequence was, not only did we oust her, she came last. She came last of the Labour Party candidates. Marie Bashforth and Stephen Bashforth came ahead of her. Now, don't for 1 minute think that happened by accident. It happened as a direct consequence of the work that was led from here. And that had to go free to air. Now, the problem with that was, as soon as I put the content out free to air, my paid subscriptions dropped off, because some people are like that, and it's fine. The world is what it is. But I couldn't get any new subscriptions. Half a dozen people came forward and privately sponsored me, and I'm grateful to those of you. Some people pay £10, I think some people pay up to £50, and I'm grateful. Because without it, I wouldn't have been able to keep going. And I was exhausted. By the time we got to the election, and we got over the line the way we did, I was running on empty. And I know we can't go into the fight this way for next year, because I know what it will take for next year. We are now not just fighting Amanda Chadderton, because in the scheme of things, Amanda Chadderton wasn't the worst of leaders. She wasn't a gangster. She was just loyal to the Labour Party to a fault. She wasn't like Sean Fielding, who was malicious. And she's definitely nothing like Shah, who was gangsters on speed dial on her phone. We are now governed from Glodick. It's a Muslim majority. cabinet, and they will fight dirty. This council will fight dirty because they are the majorities only by 2. And we've learned a lot. And I have an understanding, I think, of how much effort and energy will be required to finally wrestle control of this council away from Arud Shah and her despotic Labour Party regime. And thank you. 99 pence, I think, is an insignificant amount to pay. And if I could set the amount at 49 pence or 59 pence, I would have. But the minimum YouTube would allow me to set the monthly membership at was 99 pence. So please, there's a link. You've all seen it. Membership or whatever, or join or sign up or whatever it says on your screens. Sign up, and you're an existing subscriber to or contribute to sign up to the 99 pence. And I think leading up to the first of the council meetings is when we'll transition. It's not a lot, is it, Gary? I don't think I'm being, and like I've said to you, I'll put that in a kitty for drinks at Christmas. It's because I've had enough of people having the content for free in that way. Now, these are for the live transmissions, and there's a conversation to be had. There's nothing to stop me then editing extracts afterwards and putting that out for free, which I will do. I'll put it out for free on Telegram. I'll put it out for free on YouTube. So people can get a flavour of little segments of what we're talking about and encouraging them to join. I think the Oldham Times costs a lot more, mate. And you don't get this, do you? I mean, that's the other thing we've got. And it's the thing I think most of us value. There's a community here. We've created a community. We've created a community. And we're doing something really, really good. Now, moving forward, on top of the transmissions, on top of me going out and about and speaking to people, and filming them and putting up videos and using the phone to on Telegram, I think what I'm going to do is do a lot more spoken word stuff on Telegram. So podcasts, the equivalent of podcasts, and we use Telegram to put them out. I've got a campaign to be MP. I've got to campaign to be MP soon. Now, the way I'm going to campaign to be MP, win or lose, is by growing other people. And I'm hoping that the other people I grow and support will then be my advocates in the community. I've already had conversations in my own Asian community, and I've told them to get stuffed. I'm not going to play Pakistani or Bangladeshi politics. I'm not interested in which village someone comes from. And sending people round to collect postal votes. If we're going to win this, we're going to win this by doing the right thing. We're going to campaign for a better town. And we're not going to get involved in any of that dodgy business of postal vote fraud. It's not me. I'm not going to do it. And if that means no one from the Bangladeshi community to the Pakistani community votes for me, then so be it. So be it. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to start that process, I think, in September. I'm going to start that campaigning process in September. It'll give us a year and a bit longer. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. But what I need to do, is that there are people who've gone on this journey with me. And we've not got them to where they should be, where they need to be, where they deserve to be. And that's sitting in that council chamber. How on the help? And Failsworth isn't in Oldham West and Royton, by the way, but it's in Oldham. How on the help? Mark Wilkinson, David Gidman, Dean Ludford, decent people. How on the help them into the council chamber? Dean should be a councillor. Dean definitely should be a councillor. He's bright enough, and he works hard enough, and he understands the democratic process. Mark deserves to be back in there. And to help Failsworth re-establish himself, those independents who were wronged. John Hughes said hello earlier. John lives in Chadderton South. The first time I met John Hughes, well, I think his wife sent him out to say hello to me whilst I was delivering leaflets. John would make a great councillor. I'd like to see him a independent councillor in Chadderton. We've not got the independents running in Chadderton yet, have we? No, it's just one in Failsworth West and one in Failsworth East, Jeanette. But I'd love to see John as a councillor. I think he'd be brilliant. Not spoken to him about it, but I think he'd be brilliant as a councillor. I want to support the Royton independents. Maggie's bullshit, and she'll do right, but don't for 1 minute don't think she's not nervous or anxious. I bet she is. Every one of us would be. We need to support Maggie, and we need to get the next person in the Royton independents over the line. We also need to get the Royton independents, I'm sure John and his team are on it, registered as a political party, because we came up short right near the end. I think the independent name underneath them without the logo cost them votes and split the vote. So I want to see that Royton independent party banner on the ballot sheet paper next year. And once they become a party, they need to grow their own membership, don't they? So I'd love to see them grow. Mark Ince is going to be brilliant, isn't he? He's already wrestled control of the Shah Parish Council. Can't wait to see him in the council chamber. But I want to see the next, Mark supported by the next Sean Crompton independent next May. St James is crying out for a Moy to become a councillor, but we've just not got enough traction there yet. It's got 500 votes, 600 votes. I mean, this is a low turnout ward. 750 votes gets you elected. I'd love to sit down and work out a strategy. Okay, how can I get 750 votes in St James between now and next May? Because it's got to be between now and next May. And again, St James won't be in the constituency I'm fighting. No, well, Shaw and Crompton. But it's our town. I'm interested to see what the 3 Asian councillors do in Hollingwood. I know I've been told firsthand by Labour Party sources that they want to take back 1 seat in Hollingwood next May, and they're putting everything into it. And you know what they're going to do? You know what they're going to do? Sorry, it's this one I wanted. They've already decided. Remember, they had 3 white councillors in Hollingwood, yeah? I'm sorry, the ethnicity is relevant. They had 3 white councillors in Hollingwood, and they've been defeated by 3 Hollingwood Asian councillors, Pakistani councillors from the Conservative Party. You know what the Labour Party's strategy is in Hollingwood for next year? Put up an Asian candidate and split the Asian vote and fight the Asians with the Asians, which is what they've done in Worth, which is what they've done in Medlock, which is what they've done in Caldas, which is what they've done in Chadderton Central, which is what they've done in Alexandra, which is what they're increasingly doing in Waterhead. Do you see? They're making it into something sectarian. And the consequence is The majority community are turned off and don't get involved. It's bad for our democracy. But the way Arud Shah and her Labour Party will fight that election in Hollingwood next May is you won't see any of the 3 councillors who were ousted. You won't see Piffian. You won't see Williams. You won't see Hannah Roberts, who was parachuted in and parachuted straight back out. They're going to put in an Asian candidate to fight Asian politics against the Asian Conservatives. How is that healthy? We do, Denise. We need to see some good independence in Springhead. It's now a Lib Dem stronghold. It was, 3 years ago, it was a 3-way split. You've got 5 Lib Dems now, in Saddleworth. 1 in Saddleworth North, 1 in Saddleworth South, and 3 of them in. Why? Why have they managed it? Why have they managed it? And the independents not got traction? I'll tell you one of the reasons why. It's because they campaign throughout the year. It's because they campaign throughout the year. Sorry, Marlene, I hope you're okay. It's just a catch-up, Marlene. What I want to do by September is have agreed with whoever we need to agree with who our candidates are going to be for next May. And I want to train them. I want to support them, and I want them to be campaigning on issues between now and next May. So you're not knocking on doors a month, a week, a day before the election asking for people to vote for you. Because that's what's wrong with our democracy. When people are put off, when you're out there campaigning, it's a case of, where are you the rest of the year? So if we are going to put up independent candidates in Saddleworth North, Saddleworth South, Saddleworth Western Leeds, Chadderton, Royton, South, and Shah and Crompton, we need to be campaigning now, and we need to be, whoever are our candidates, whoever will stand, need to be behaving like councillors doing casework and advocating on behalf of their communities 9 months, 10 months before the election. And I guarantee you, we'll take that 32 and bring it down to 27, 28. We'll get rid of Arud Shah's Labour Party majority at the next election. But not only that, we'll replace them with decent people who want to do what you want them to see them doing, the right thing. So that's where we're up to, I think. I will be here for the next year, but I just need to line myself up, get my ducks in a row of how I will be most effective in the lead up to next May. So we'll do the YouTube stuff, we'll do the Telegram stuff. Thank you, John. It's that, isn't it? We need to create a network. We need to create a network between us. Because come on, mate, you smashed it. Maggie just didn't win. She came first in the Labour Party stronghold. And the other two, John, I'm certain we would have got them over the line if the vote hadn't been split. By that muppet. I was in Coldust yesterday. I won't play games there. I won't play games there. My understanding is, I think Montaz will try and run again. Yeah, he's a family friend of mine. I saw him yesterday. I'm not going to fall out with him. Someone contacted me the other day and said, "Oh, you've fallen out with Montaz." I said, "Who's told you that?" He goes, "Oh, he's heard." I said, "Well, I had dinner with him last week." He didn't mention I'd fallen out with him. I had not fallen out with him. What is this? Some playground? You've done something I don't like, so I'm going to fall out with you. I'm very clear on my position with Montaz and the Coldest independents. Playing ghetto politics won't get you where you need to be. Take a deep breath, have a good look round, and understand you're there to serve all of them. You're there to serve all, not just a faction from a Bangladeshi community or a faction from some other community. You're there to serve all. And I'm right in my belief. I know I am. Might not be popular, but I'm right in my belief. So let's see what happens there. I think he'll, in fact I do know the Conservatives are courting him, and maybe he'll stand as a Conservative. I also know my friend Miah, who I spoke with yesterday, is in Nottingham now. Caught a train, I think. Those of you follow him on Facebook, you'll have seen him. One of his tying grumpy photographs at some unearthly hour whilst he's on the train. A senior civil servant. I know he's a committed Liberal Democrat. They are planning to come back. They once held Coldust. Maybe he'll come back. As a councillor, I don't know. I think Miah Buddin, as a councillor, Lib Dem, Conservative, Independent, whatever, is an asset for the town. Come on, this man is a senior civil servant. Look at the calibre of some of the councillors, particularly the Asian councillors. So September time, by the time September comes along, and I'll advertise it somehow, somewhere, I'll put out a training programme. If you want to be a councillor, I'll train you. I'll put together, we'll hire a venue somewhere. We'll put together a 6-week course, an 8-week course, a 12-week course, one night a week, and I'll train you. I'll train you on council processes and train you on campaigning. I'll train you on all of it. I've done it before. I've run national training programs on supporting young people to become leaders, MPs, all of that. I can do that in my sleep. All I need is a community centre and a whiteboard and some flip chart paper, a few chairs and biscuits and a flask for some tea, and I'll train all of you. But we need to get to a point where we all agree that we need to work together, and together we are stronger. So we'll put that out. We'll put that out over the next few weeks. You want to be a councillor? Sign up. And you should want to be a councillor. The best councillors are the reluctant councillors. They're the ones who've had enough. I've looked around their communities and no, it's not going to get any better with the people who are in charge. And they're willing to sacrifice themselves. And that should be applauded. So I applaud Mark, Maggie, Jade, Darren, Warren. Eccentric that he is. I'll tell you why. I picked up my phone. Eccentric that he is. Warren Bates, 6:36. Hope you're keeping in touch with the Minshall Street CSE court case. Northwest tonight certainly gave it extra time last night and Granada. You need to tell me that at 6:36 this morning. It's great. And I think Warren's in a better place. Because he's found a community he belongs to. Which is, if I got a smile on my face, that's why. Okay. The questions have gone off to the council. Tony Martin got in touch and a few others have got in touch with me overnight to say, oh, I'm just catching up on the transmission. Any questions, any more questions, I can submit them. You know, I think 4 or 5 questions at every council meeting is enough, don't you? 4 or 5, we just need to be consistent. It's consistency that wins you this. You've got to turn up and you've got to perform every time. That's what wins you this. Not some flash in the pan sort of nonsense. Ooh, I've had 100,000 views. No, consistency. And being effective, targeted, coordinated. We're winning. They know we're winning. And with these little tweaks, we're going to become far more effective than we already are. So, I'm off to Failsworth. I'm having a cuppa with my friend David Gidman. Hopefully Dean will be there. Might pop round to see Mark. He's a Man City fan, isn't he? It's a big week for them. They won the FA Cup and they're off to the Champions League final. If any of you want to catch up with me, just drop me a message. I'm around this week. I'll happily just pot over, have a brew with you. I prefer to meet people in person. I'm old-fashioned like that. So, by all means, drop me a message. I'll come over and say hello. Okay? I am around. My daughter's away. It's half term, second week of half term, and she's away with her mum. She's overseas on holiday, so I've got a free week. So, if you need to see me, just drop me a message. You've all got my numbers, or you can messenger me, or WhatsApp me, or send me a message on Telegram. Send me a message on Telegram. And if there's a few of you that want to meet up with me together, then arrange it and tell me, Raja, can you be here at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock? And I'll get there. Have a good day, and I will see you soon.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.